What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Vulnerable Moments, the podcast. I'm your host, Jovan J. Palmer, and as always, we have special guests, including myself, sharing our most transparent and vulnerable moments. So, welcome back. We are back. Like I told you, I'm doing my best to stay consistent in podcasting. So, we're going to see. No, we're not going to see. We're going to see. So, we back. 3 weeks in a row, I think we back. But let's get into it. So today's topic, we are talking about the power of putting self first. So I'm going to tell a story that you've probably all heard. If you've been on an airplane, you've probably heard this story or this, whatever you want to call it, this vignette, millions of times. If you've flown to and from places, you've heard this, the importance of putting your mask on first. And the stewardess, they get on, they give the spew about your seatbelt, about storage and making sure you get the clear space between your feet. And then they get to this point of their announcement where they talk about the importance of putting your mask on first. And they never really explain why you should put your mask on first. But through research that I've done, it's important to put your mask on first because pretty much if you're up thousands of miles in the air quality and the air compression, all that types of stuff, it's not as strong as it would be on the ground. So if a plane's crashing or a plane is it's dipping down or whatever it may be, it's losing the pressure inside the cabin or the airplane. It's pretty much, taking up so much air where you won't be able to breathe or won't be able to assist anybody unless you have the oxygen mask on that falls from the top. Put it on, and then you go assist, your child, your spouse, or whomever it may be. Now, I know for some people, they may be, I need to help my kids first, I got to help so-and-so first, but what good are you if you don't have the energy or if you don't have the air quality that you need to assist somebody? And that same scenario goes to, and it applies to your regular life. What good are you if you are not putting yourself first? So, we got a few topics today that we're going to hit on the power of putting yourself first and why you should put yourself first. So let's talk about, your mental health and your well-being. So when you prioritize yourself, what happens is you see a reduction in stress. And I know for some people, they say, oh, well, when I help people, I feel less stressed. Yes, until it inconveniences you. When you start getting inconvenienced, and then all of a sudden, when you start getting inconvenienced, then the stress comes up. When you're doing for so many people, when you're doing for them and you're doing and doing for them, and you realize that what they want you to do now gets in the way of what you want to do for yourself, now the stress comes because now you're trying to make a decision on who do I help first. And at the end of the day, it should always be you, regardless of what's going on. At the end of the day, if you have something in place for your life, on your schedule, your calendar, you come first. Nobody else. The only thing that should come first above you is God. That's it. Now, I'm not married, so I'm not going to get into the whole marriage and spouse and all types of things like that. However you run your household is how you run your household. But above all that, you come first. When it comes to your mental well-being, you come first. When it comes to your fitness, you come first. When it comes to your calendar, you come first. Like, even over your job, don't let the job stress you out. Don't let people stress you out. You have to understand that it is very important. It's very imperative that you put you first. And if you don't put yourself first, then what's going to happen is you're going to be last every time. Every time when it's time for you to put yourself first, you're going to come last. And it's not going to be fun. After a while, you're going to get tired of being last. After a while, you're going to get tired of putting yourself last, because you feel as if, I'm the life of the party, or I'm always needed, so, it makes me feel good. But what happens when you're no longer needed? What happens when everybody who once needed you no longer needs you? Then what? What do you do with your life when you've put everything and everyone ahead of you? And I was talking with a friend of mine, a friend's mom some time ago, and her son passed away, and God rest his soul. And she was just talking about how she don't know what she's going to do when her child goes to college. And I asked her, I said, well, what have you done for yourself lately? Like over all the years of raising your kids, what have you done? And she said, I haven't. All I've done was just raise kids. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, you had to raise your kids, of course. That's a given. But in the raising of your kids, what do you have for yourself when you're the empty nester and the kids are gone? Or what do you do when all your friends are gone and everyone's moved on and you haven't done anything for yourself and you haven't put yourself first? You haven't found a hobby that you like and you're waiting until, 40, 50, 60, and 70 years old to finally find a hobby. And I told myself that, and I was telling her more so, you got to get back to you or get to the person where you've always wanted to be, where you've wanted to help yourself. You wanted to put yourself first, whether it be horseback riding, whether it be the guitar like I'm learning right now, whether it be, maybe starting a podcast for moms or for dads or whomever it is that you want to share your experiences of who you are and what you've been through. Maybe it may be that. Maybe it may be, going on hikes every Saturday. Or maybe it's like, you make a date with yourself. My guitar teacher, he's telling me, Jovan, like if you really want to learn this thing, you got to make a date with yourself every day. Every day, and it doesn't stop. And he was giving me this scene from Mo Better Blues. And his wife or the lady came in, he said, and I'm probably not telling the story right because I haven't watched the movie just yet, but he tells me this story every time. He can just tell when I come in when I haven't practiced. He says, the wife comes in to the guy, and she goes, where were you at or something like that at such and such time. If you've seen the movie, forgive me. I'm going to watch it and tell the story again so I can get it right. But I think he's like, between the hours of 3 and 4, what do I do every day? And she says, play the trumpet. And he goes, why are you bothering me? Something like that. But what I'm trying to say is that I got to be able to tell that story a lot better, so I got to watch the movie.
Clark, what time is it?
1:00 p.m.
And what does that mean?
That means you're practicing.
That's right. It means I'm practicing. And if you know I'm practicing and you know I don't finish practicing until 2 o'clock, which is for at least another 60 minutes, why are you buzzing my buzzer?
Because I want to see you.
What? What is that supposed to mean?
That means let me up.
And who are you?
I'm Clark.
How many times do I have to tell you? I have a certain amount of time allotted for daily practice. You know this, yet you consistently overlook my program.
I get the times mixed up. Everything with you is so damn regulated. A certain time to do this, a certain time to do that. Everything's on a schedule, a timetable. Loosen up, tight ass.
Let me explain something to you. Life is short, okay? I need it like this to do all the things I gotta do. I like order.
Order's fine, but you're ridiculous.
And what do you want?
I want a man who knows what he wants. Decisive. You don't know what you want. Make up your mind, be a man, and don't be wishy-washy on me.
I know what I want. My music. Everything else is secondary.
But what I'm saying is you have to make a date with yourself every day for some things that are non-negotiable that comes with putting you first. When you put yourself first, what happens is you wind up finding self-fulfillment within yourself. You feel full because you've put yourself first. You've done the things that you need to do. I feel great when I play the guitar, I get to study. All right, quick break before we get back into the episode. So healing, it's not sexy. It's not the best thing ever, trust me. It takes you through ebbs and flows, ups and downs, valleys and peaks, and all that types of stuff. How do I know? Because I've been there. And I'm still going through my healing journey because there's so much more to uncover about yourself, about the traumatic experience that you've been through. So I started a coaching program where people like myself and yourself can come together to start your healing journey. Maybe you started it, maybe you stopped it, maybe you kind of like in this in-between space, or maybe you say, you know what? I'm in a space where I'm ready to really get to the work and start doing the root work and the core work of who I am and to uncover all this mess and that's all inside of me. So if you're one of those people who are looking for a space that you can heal in community and love and transparency and vulnerability, join my coaching program, www.andnowweheal.com. That's www.andnowweheal.com, where we'll meet on a weekly basis. We'll read book club. We'll have a book club. We'll read articles. We'll watch videos together. And of course, you hear from myself and some of my special guests and friends who I've, met along this journey, who have been doing amazing work in this space, who can help you to just start your healing journey or accelerate your healing journey, or just really just get on a space where you know what, you feel good about who you are and who you're growing into. So I hope to get to see you at andnowweheal.com. Join us. I love you. Let's heal together. Back to the episode. I get work done. I get to see my clients. When I have a day full of things that I said that I'm going to do for myself, I feel full because I put me first. I feel full when I see a call that comes through after my D&D hours and I don't respond. I feel full when I see a text after my hours of, when I'm supposed to shut down for the night and I don't respond. I feel full when, someone calls me and say, hey, can you do this? And I look at my calendar and realize that what they want me to do overlaps what I have going on. And I am able and I'm empowered to say no, I can't do this. But how about we look at another date? Those things make me feel full because I'm learning to choose me first and put me first. If you ever watched, what was the show? She's like, I gotta put me first, Lucius. Gotta put me first, Lucius. I'm gonna put the clip in here. I got to.
I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first. I gotta put me first, Lucius. I understand that, and I promise you.
But you gotta put you first. Hopefully there's no copyright. I'm gonna put a little clip in there that says no copyright. But you gotta learn to put you first. And it's important to put you first because what happens is when you put you first, people learn how to treat you. When they know that so-and-so is putting themselves first, so-and-so is not gonna go for that anymore, they learn how to treat you or they just fall off the face of your earth. So you gotta learn what it's about in regards to putting yourself first and nobody else. And I know for parents, especially single moms or single dads who are out there and you gotta raise your children. There's nothing wrong with raising your children, but you also need to find a support system. The African proverb says it takes a village to raise a child. And the issue with, what I've been seeing with a lot of single parents that I work with, or I've talked with, is that there's too much pride in raising a child by yourselves. Entirely too much pride, And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but there's also something wrong with it. When you have taken pride and say, I've done this all by myself. It was all me. That's cool, but the question is, are you choosing to do this all by yourself, or you just can't do it, or you just have to do it all by yourself? And I believe that we don't always have to do everything by ourselves. You have to cultivate a village. Putting yourself first means cultivating a village so that when you need help, as a single mom who's raising that young man by herself, and you can't tell her, it's hard for a mom to raise a man. Regardless of how hard you try, there's some things that a mom can't teach a man. There's some things that a man can't teach his daughter, that we need both individuals to come together. And I'm seeing this even in my current work right now, where the pride of doing it by myself and I don't need X, Y, Z, or I don't need so-and-so is coming very prevalent, especially within our community. And we got to drop that notion of not needing anybody. Because that's what's going to happen when you choose and when you make a decision to not put yourself first. Not putting yourself first means I can do it all by myself. And that's not how God created the world. There's many people in this world for a reason. And I believe I may have said this in the last episode that we got to utilize and learn to lean on people. You can't lean on life all by itself and by yourself and feel like, I can still put myself first. It's not going to work that way. You're going to find yourself exhausted trying to do everything in the world except putting you first. So if you focus on your needs and what you have going on, your personal development, what happens is you become a better person. What happens is, you learn that if I put myself first, I begin to love me first. And I believe if you're one who doesn't put themselves first, then you're one who doesn't truly love themselves. And for the longest, for a long time, I wasn't putting me first. I was putting everything and everybody ahead of me. And it showed in how I showed up for myself, And as I'm in this period now of, revamping Jovan and becoming this new man, I'm realizing what true love of self really means. So in putting yourself first, you got to put love first, self-love first. And when you put self-love first, what happens is you understand boundaries. You understand the importance of, having true and meaningful and impactful relationships. I was talking to my homeboy maybe about 2 weeks ago, and he said that somebody was getting on him about calling everybody friend. And I'm asking, well, what's the issue with calling everybody friend? Because what some people don't understand is that there's levels to friendships. I personally have levels to friendships. If you hear from me on a regular basis, if I'm hitting you up and consistently communicating with you, you're a friend to me. If I don't know you and we just meet, you're still a friend to me. It's just that you haven't reached a certain level or peak within my space, in my community, or my village, where it's like, you're that type of friend. The thing is that, I want people to feel like, what, that's a friend, or that's what a friend looks like, and that's what I want to have, or that's the type of friend I want to have. Not saying we got to be like homies, because a lot of people that get up, I've heard people get upset with me sometimes, and I don't care. I stopped caring about what people think about how I handle my life. But I call everyone who I know a friend, because they are. We've made contact, we communicated, we've exchanged phone numbers. You are a friend of mine. But it doesn't mean that you have access to me in the way that certain friends have access to me. There's certain people who can get through by D&D because they already know that there's a respect of my boundaries already. I already know that they respect my boundaries, and they know that there's a respect of my boundaries as well. But the people who I know can't respect my boundaries and don't have, that mindset in place, that level of friendship is going to be a little different. So when you put yourself first, what happens is you tend to pretty much, improve your personal relationship with yourself first, and then you improve relationships with other people because they understand, okay, this person is now putting themselves first. I can't get over on them like I used to. I'm proud that they have boundaries now. Maybe I need to up my boundaries and step my boundaries up. I was talking to my homeboy Dewan the other day, and he was just calling and checking on me, which I really appreciate. I appreciate people where they say, oh, you were on my mind, and I took the initiative to hit you up. That's something I'm working on doing, better myself. But it's like, we were talking about my D&D. He had called after my D&D hours, and I hit him up the next day, a few hours later after my D&D in the morning as well. And he was just saying, yo, like, my D&D is 8 o'clock. I'm like, yo, that's a nice boundary. 8 o'clock is a nice boundary. And I'm like, maybe I need to step mine up. Maybe not. Maybe my D&D is a little too late. But understanding the importance of setting healthy boundaries means that you are going to put yourself first. And some of us, if I ask you what are your boundaries, you probably couldn't tell me what your boundaries are. Like some of my boundaries, you can't call me before or after 9:30 a.m. and p.m. Some of my boundaries that, you're not going to talk to me in the way that you think you can talk to me. Some of my boundaries are, self-respect for myself, self-respect for others people as well. Some of my boundaries are, my personal space. Don't be off in my face, talking to me. It's like, it doesn't take all of this for you to actually want to talk to me and get your point across. There's plenty of boundaries out there, but you got to find out what your boundaries are and understand that in this lifetime, that if you don't have boundaries up, what's going to happen is your self-love is going to deplete. You're no longer going to put yourself first. And also, what's also going to happen is you're going to wind up in a space where you're repeating the same cycle over and over. Until you get it, until you understand that having healthy boundaries are very important to putting yourself first, you're going to be repeating the cycle over and over and over. There's a thing called a 360 and a 180. Are you going to do a 360 with your life where you're repeating the cycle, or are you going to do a 180 where you're changing the cycle? Because what happens when you change the cycle and you put these boundaries in place for yourself, You wind up being able to teach your child about boundaries. You wind up getting to teach your spouse about boundaries. Wind up getting to teach your family about boundaries. You know, when you make a decision for yourself that is so powerful, such as putting yourself first, you wind up teaching other people the same tactic. You wind up teaching them how to respect you, how to treat you, how to talk to you. You set the tone for your life. You have to set the tone for your life, because if you don't, guess what? Somebody else will. And you don't want somebody else setting the tone for your life. Like, you know, you go to the job and you feel like the job is ruling you. You go to, you know, your mom's house and you feel like mom's is ruling you. Pops is ruling you. Sister's ruling you. Life is ruling you. It's slapping you upside down. But the question is, when are you going to get a handle on your life? Get a grip on your life. You know, I understand right now, inflation's high. Everything's high. You know, we might even want to be high. Who knows? But the thing is, you know, get a grip on your life. Get a grip in your life. Find some things that you enjoy doing. I enjoy walking, so I've been taking, you know, I started a walking challenge with my job, and I walk an hour almost every day. An hour, which is about 3 to 4 miles, depending upon how far I want to walk. You know, I enjoy hiking, so me and the homies, we get up once a month to go hike. You know, so I'm doing things that Jovan loves, and when Jovan does things that he loves, he puts himself first. I put it on the calendar. It doesn't move. There's nothing that can get in the way of it. You know, sometimes I may need to be a little flexible with some things, but there's some things that are non-negotiables for me. Some things just can't be moved, and some things shouldn't be able to be moved in your life. And you shouldn't be easily moved by people and places and things. You know, think about yourself first, and think about your confidence, how this will increase. When you start putting yourself first, how your self-worth and your confidence will increase. Because when you put yourself first, you learn that there's so much more value to who you are and who you've been as well. And your confidence goes to spike up. Now, I'm not saying I'm the most confident guy in the world, but I have some spaces in my life where I'm very confident, I'm very sure in. In the spaces that I'm not, I'm just not that confident, so sure in those areas just yet. But I'm growing to be more confident, and I'm in this space, in this season of putting me first. I'm taking the time to say, okay, Jovan, this area of life you may not be that confident in, you may not be that sure in, but guess what? With you putting yourself first and you working on yourself on a daily basis, you can grow confident in those areas. And that goes the same thing for you. Not everyone has an insecurity or 2 or 3 or 4. And what you have to realize is that at the end of the day, we're all the same. There's not much that changes about most people. Yes, some people may have a bigger bank account than you. Yes, some people may have more things than you have. But at the end of the day, we're all still the same human beings. We're all the same. Nothing's going to change about us or who we are. And when we focus on ourselves and start putting ourselves first, what happens is we start watering our grass and realize the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is green where you decide to water it. So if you're watering yourself, guess what? Your grass gets greener. Like this plant behind me, it's fake, but you know, it's a good green. And if it was I can't show you my real plants because some of them look good and some of them look pretty bad right now because I haven't been tending to them in the way that I should. And sometimes I ask myself, Jovan, like when I look at my plants and I say, Jovan, well, is that a reflection of you, or is that just the cycle of plants? They grow, they live, they die. And I'm thinking, you know, sometimes I think I take things too literal, too serious sometimes, where I look at these plants and I'm learning that that's just a cycle of life for plants. They're going to bloom, they're going to sprout, they're going to look very good for a time being. But guess what? Eventually it has to die in order for something new to happen. And as I look at these plants and I'm looking at them and looking at this, you know, my money tree, and I just looked at it to them like, wow, like there's something new. I got some new leaves that has sprouted from money tree. And I looked at my other plant, I'm like, okay, there's some new ones sprouting out. And I guess since I'm like this new, I've become like new and become like a new plant dad. I'm like looking at my plants like, okay, what's going on? Is the way that you all look, is that a reflection of my life? Because I haven't tended to you all in the way that I should have, or haven't cared for you all in the way that I should have. And that also shows a level of care for myself or how I care for other things and people. Not saying that, you know, I'm caring for them in a bad way or I'm caring for myself in a bad way, but it just helps me to understand, okay, tend to your plants a little bit more, tend to yourself, to your garden a little bit more. And some of us, we got to tend to our garden a little bit more than we have been. And that intending to ourselves is, okay, how am I caring for myself? How am I putting myself first? How am I showing up for myself on a daily basis? And there's some days where you just won't feel like showing up for yourself. And that's okay. It's okay to have a day or two where you just don't feel like doing anything, or you don't feel like being bothered with it, because you just need some time for yourself to recoup. Because what happens is you're in survival mode, learning to survive, and you're learning this new person that you've become, or you're becoming, should I say, and when you're in the space and season of becoming a new person, what you got to recognize is that it's going to take a lot out of you, because you're pretty much trying to drown your old ways just so you can resurface with some new ways. You're trying to breathe life into some new ways. And some of us are trying to breathe life into some things that are already just dead. Let the old pass away, and let the new, welcome this new life of yours. Welcome this new life of yours that is trying its best to get your attention. Putting yourself first means that there's some things in your life that you got that's calling your name and is trying to get your attention, but you've been ignoring them. There might be a little boy or a little girl in you that's trying to get your attention, that's saying, hey, nurture me, take care of me. Because when you take care of me, I'll learn to take care of this inner soul of yours. And we think that going on about life and going on every day in the way that we do, in the name of fake self-care, in the name of fake self-love, that life is just supposed to be this way, and it's not. What happens is when you learn to care for yourself and to care about yourself, everything else gets better. Your finances get better. Your relationships gets better. The love for yourself gets better. Your children get better. Your friends get better. Everything gets better when you start with yourself, because what happens is when you start with you, everything else around you has to change. That's just how life works. When you change, everything around you has to change, because what happens is your old ways won't work. But they say old keys don't work to new doors. You got some new keys that you got to go pick up from the hardware store. And some of those old keys, you got to leave there and have them slice them in half and throw them in the trash. There may be some friendships that you got to let go in the name of self-care and putting yourself first. These friendships are depleting you, but you choose to keep these people around. There may be a child that you got to let go and let them grow up on their own. And it hurts. I understand. I get it. When I was working back in the group home, I hated having to let these kids go, but sometimes you just got to let them go in order for them to grow up. Yeah, they may come back and call, come back around and say, hey, I need this, that, and the third. And instead of giving it to them, teach them how to get it for themselves. That's the best way that you can teach them to love themselves, because they appreciate those things a lot better. When you teach yourself, how can I love myself better? You appreciate love a whole lot more. And you'll stop going for the loves that, the love and the relationships that you've gone for in the past. When you learn that, putting me first means that I got to put some people second, third, and fourth, and fifth. And I got to get some people out of my space. That knucklehead that you've been dealing with for umpteenth years, 10 years, you've been in a 10-year relationship and he still ain't married you. And you've said you wanted marriage, but year 1 has gone by, year 2 has gone by, year 3 has gone by, year 5 has gone by, year 6 has gone by. And you're at the 10-year mark of being boyfriend and girlfriend. What's up? When you gonna let it go? I know it hurts because you've gotten used to being with that person. I know that you're confidant and all that types of stuff. You confided in them. You've all had a kid together. But what I realized when kids separate, a lot of kids I work with, they're thankful that their parents finally split up because the arguing has stopped. The back and forth bickering has stopped. All the toxic ways within the house have stopped. Your kids will be okay. They'll learn, they'll grow to be okay when you let that situation go. Fellas, the life that you live in is dead wrong right now. You choose to keep going back. And you even ask yourself, well, why do I keep going back to these situations or keep hanging around these people that I know aren't good for me? And there's lots of us fellas who want to do right, but we choose not to because of our pride and our ego. Pride and ego says, this lifestyle, this sense of masculinity that I'm carrying around is doing me, it's serving me, but it's not. It's doing you no justice, fellas. And it's okay to let some people go and let some lifestyles go. Trust me. You've had your fair share of the club. You've had your fair share of women or men, whatever you choose. You've had your fair share of bodies. You've had your fair share of everything. It's time to grow up and start putting yourself first and get your stuff in order. And it's okay. It's okay. You're going to lose some friends. You're going to lose some women. You know, you're going to lose the limelight. And sometimes what you got to realize that the limelight probably was never meant for you. In all honesty, I think the limelight probably ain't for anybody. It's just something that society created and we feel like we got to be a part of it. Why do you feel you got to be a part of something that is not a part of your social construct? Why do you feel like you got to be a part of something that does nothing for you? I'm learning that, you know, if I don't get the phone call to go out, I'm okay. If I don't get, you know, some certain things from certain people in this lifetime, that I'm going to be okay. As long as I keep focusing on me, I got my tribe, I got my people, I'm cool. And you got to learn to be okay by yourself. Maybe you need a season of isolation. And I'm going to talk about that. Maybe next week we're talking about isolation, what the importance of isolation. Yeah, that'll be next week's topic, the importance of isolation. Because what we don't realize is that isolation is okay. There's nothing wrong with isolation. And we'll talk about that next week. I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm going to stay on topic of, you know, you putting yourself first. I'm going to go back to my notes real quick. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one there. We're going to talk about the long-term health benefits and cultural and societal expectations. So, of course, we know the long-term benefits of putting yourself first is mean that, you know, you put some longevity on your life. When you start putting your health first, you start loving yourself first, you start watering your garden, what happens is you begin to sprout and everything else around you begins to sprout, like I said earlier. You live longer, your body starts feeling good. You know, some of the headaches that you have, the tension in your jaw that you may have because you got this subconscious stress going on that you think you throwing away, but it's just really your subconscious just eating at you and your body's trying to tell you something, but you're not listening to your body because what? You're not putting yourself first. Listen to your body. Your body will tell you everything that you need to know about yourself. We live in this world we live in this digital world where we have access to anything that we need. There's no reason why you can't figure out why your toe hurt. There's no reason why you can't figure out why you got this intuition within your gut. There's no reason why you can't figure out what your body's telling you. We got access to medical professionals. We got access to holistic professionals. We have access to so much in this world today, especially if you live here in these good old United States. But the issue is that we don't want to put forth the effort because effort sometimes scares us. Putting forth the effort means that I have to put down some things that I'm not ready to put down just yet. And if you're not ready to put those things down just yet, that means that maybe you just really don't love yourself just yet. Or maybe you're not ready to step into self-love just yet. And if that's the case, then say that. Let life keep on handling you the way it's been handling you. Let people handle you in the way that they've been handling you. You made the choice. You made the decision. It's all on you. I know putting you first, sometimes it can look hard, it can feel hard, and it will get hard. But the more you keep choosing you, when you wake up every morning, open your eyes and say, today I choose me. Like, say that out loud. Today I choose me. Every day you wake up, let some of the first words after you say, thank you, God, for waking me up, say, today I choose me. Today I choose me, and whatever the choice is that you have in your list, hopefully you're planning out your days and your weeks, you choose you. I choose to get up and go for a walk. I choose to get up and wash my face. I choose to get up and take a shower. I choose to get up and don't let this funk rule how I flow. I choose to get up and, water my plants. I choose. That's the power of choice. We all have that power. But we act like we don't. You have the power to choose every day, to choose for yourself, to choose how you feel, to choose how you want to smile, to choose how you want to love, to choose who you want to love, to choose who you want to love you, to choose how you want to receive love. You have the power. And that's what happens when you put yourself first and recognize that Putting me first means that I gotta look the man or woman in the mirror every day and say, I choose you. There's this quote I have in my mirror that says, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And I believe that. You know, there's some days where I have days where I just sometimes just don't feel like doing some things. And I'm tired because maybe I'm mentally drained from working. You know, maybe I'm just tired because, you know, I may have stayed up too late the night before. You know, but all in all, I love who I am and I love who I'm becoming. I love who I've become over the past maybe year, 2 years, like 2 years, a lot. 2 years is not a long time. When you look back on your life and you say, you know what, it's time for a change. Give yourself a month. Give yourself a month to just trying to start changing. Just make small changes in your life. Small changes. Instead of getting up and going straight to your phone, how about you get up and go straight to your knees? You know, instead of getting up, you know, and going through the same routine and jumping straight into work, how about you do some meditation? Instead of getting up and going straight to whatever it is you typically go straight to that, you know, stresses you out, how about you set the tone for your day first? Set the tone through prayer, meditation, reading, you know, studying, washing your face, getting some vitamin D from outside, taking a walk, exercise, something that's going to get your body up and going, that's going to get, you know, your endorphins going as well. That's going to say, you know what, I feel good. I can conquer the day. I can handle this day today. Because culture and society says that, you know what, we got to grind. And my homeboy Alex, you know, shout out to Alex, you know, he was just like, yo, I don't want to grind. Because when he gave the analogy of what grind means, it means to shave down. And what's happening is you're shaving time off your life by grinding all the time. I don't want to grind. I don't. I lived that life and I was depleted by grinding every day. I was tired. There was no self-care. There was no self-love. I was just going. I don't want that life anymore. So if the life that I want now, it takes me a little slower to get there, I'm okay with that. Be okay with the pace being a little bit different and it being a little bit slow. Think of yourself as the rabbit versus the turtle. Be the turtle. The turtle took his time getting there. The turtle loved himself more than the rabbit did because the rabbit was so worried and so pressed about getting to the finish line first that it missed the entire journey. I want to capture every part of this journey so when I share it, I can share it in the way that, you know what, you all can understand when you close your eyes or you just listen to me or you're watching this video and you're saying, yo, I can see myself doing the same thing or I can see myself doing better. You know, I used to tell people, I'm gonna be just like you. And they'd be like, nah, be better. I actually never understand that though. I'm like, why you want to be better than you? Like, what's the point? And I'm like, I get it now. Be better because there's some things in life there's some things in life that they've probably done that they can't rewind or they can't go back to and can't fix. So when you be better than, my dad tells me to be better than him. My mentors tell me to be better than them. And I'm striving to be better than them. You know, I'm going to be the best at everything that I can do. Anything that I put my hands on is going to turn to gold because people told me to be better than them. They told me to be great. They told me to all these things that I've heard throughout life and I haven't applied them up until now. So don't let culture or society tell you that you can't put yourself first because you can't. Don't let culture says that you got to put work first all the time because you don't have to. Set the boundary with your job. I bet they treat you a little different. I bet they respect you a little bit more. Set the boundary with your moms and pops. Set the boundary with your family. Set the boundaries. Don't throw out everything that culture and society has taught you. Throw it all out. And just pick the things that you believe work for you. Go into the tree in the garden of life and say, okay, this works for me. That works for me. This works for me. I like this. I can work with this. I can work with that. Grab those things. Go against societal norms. Society wants us to be broke. Society wants us to be balling on a budget. Society wants us to do so many things that morally we do not even agree with. But we keep doing them because we want people to look at us and say, oh, they got it all together. Trust me, I just want people to think because I thought I had it all together. And this new season of life is showing me that I don't. But it's also showing me that I can get it together. And the reason it's showing me that I can get it together because I'm in the season of putting Jovan first. I'm in the season of doing what Jovan wants to do. And once you get into that season of insert your name, doing what they want to do, that's when life in the world, and God will release those things that's meant for you. That's all the things you felt like, they weren't obtainable. When you start putting you first and you start focusing on you, you start being have that tunnel vision. You take a lens and you say, all right, I'm going to zoom in on Jovan. I'm going to zoom in on myself. When you just decide to do that, that's when life gets a little bit better. That's where you start being able to have, you start seeing the fruits of your labor that you've put in, that you invested in yourself. Think of yourself like a stock market. You got to invest into it to get more out of it, right? So invest in you. My therapist told me to get a dog or a plant. I chose plants. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 9 plants now. I'm not taking care of a dog. Dogs cost too much money. They cool. But right now, a dog is not in Jovan's budget. That's the reality. I could have followed my emotions or I could have followed logic. And the issue with a lot of us in the name of putting self first, is we follow emotion over logic. You got to put logic over emotion. And men, we are very logical beings, but we don't step into our logical self. Women, you all, it's the statistics. Don't shoot me, I'm just the messenger. But you all are very emotional beings. Put logic over the emotions. Things will start making a lot more sense. I promise you it will. I promise you, put logic over emotions, life will start to make more sense. I used to tell my kids in the group home, stay out your feelings. It's a dangerous place to be. You stay out your feelings. I feel a certain way, so I do this. You gotta realize that feelings are temporary. They're only for moments. I may be pissed off at somebody today. I done went to bed, tomorrow I woke up, I done dropped it. That's why I don't act in emotion anymore. You got to realize that you can't act in emotion anymore. The more you act in emotion, the more reckless your decisions get, the more reckless your life gets. You got to become a more logical thinker. And that's what happens when you put yourself first. You start thinking a lot more logically. You start thinking a lot more clearer. And things just start making more sense and things just start happening and the stars just start aligning. So that's today's episode, y'all. I love you. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. Share this with a friend. If you found this episode to be any way helpful, please, 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 please do me a favor. Share this with a friend. Hit that subscribe button. And stay tuned in. Like I said, we're growing the podcast. Mental Health Fridays are definitely still coming. So, I love you. Let's hear together. Peace.